In this section of the test, you will hear dialogues and academic talks, and you will be tested on your ability to understand them. You will hear each dialogue and academic talk only once, and then answer questions after each is finished. The questions ask about the main idea, supporting details, and the way the speakers use language. Answer each question based on what is stated or implied by the speakers. While you listen, you may take notes. You can then use your notes to answer the questions. Listen to each pair of conversations, and determine how the same expression was used differently in each conversation.
Excuse me, I want to change my elective to humor in American literature from political anthropology.
You'll need to submit a change of matriculation form, and a consent letter, from the professor teaching the course you want to transfer to.
I have the letter from the professor. Where do I get a change of matriculation form?
You can get one from your college secretary. After you fill out the form, go to the registrar and submit the signed form along with any payment, due by 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
Sorry, what? Did you say today? Or, was that tomorrow?
What does the speaker mean when she says this?
Did you say today? Hi, Professor Perkins. Can I talk to you about the paper I'm doing on language learning theories?
Oh, hi Lizzie. Are you having any problems with your paper?
Actually, yes. I'm not absolutely certain what to include in my paper. The sub-points I could discuss seem so closely related to each other that I don't know what to keep and what to leave out.
Why don't you just give me an outline of your paper today, and I'll give you some advice.
Did you say today?
What does the speaker mean when she says this?
Did you say today?
Hi, Professor. I have a question about what you were discussing in class today.
You mean the stuff on sand dunes?
Yes. I didn't understand your explanation about how sand dunes form. I mean, I don't really have the saltation process down pat.
Here, let me show you from the book. Okay, it says here that in the saltation process, the wind lifts individual sand grains into the air.
Just a moment, Professor, where are you?
What does the speaker mean when he says this?
Professor, where are you? I finished correcting your test paper, and I'm sorry to say that you failed the test. I'm not really sure what you found so difficult. Was it the topic or were you under the weather, Marilyn?
Actually, sir, it was the topic. I had trouble understanding some of it.
There's one question on the test, which I believe you completely misunderstood. Why don't you tack out your textbook and let's discuss it? That's page 245. Number 14.
Okay. When two bacteria exchange genetic information, what is the process called? I believe the answer is.
Marilyn, where are you?
What does the speaker mean when he says this?
Where are you?
Hello, I'm here to return the books I borrowed. Here they are.
Okay, let's see. Yo owe the library $5 for your overdue book.
But it's overdue only 1 day, and I remember I paid less than that the last time.
I know, but the library recently changed its policy on overdue books. The fine was too low, saw students weren't returning books on time. So the head librarian raised the fine from $3 to $5.
Well, prices are going up. So, what else is new?
What does the speaker mean when she says this?
So, what else is new? University officials recently changed the rules regarding changing your major.
Really? I hope it won't affect my plans to switch to engineering.
Well, that depends. The university discovered that a lot of students change majors without thinking about what they really want. So the new rule is, the student must have completed 60% of his general courses before he can consider switching.
That's about 3 semesters with a normal credit load, right?
Right. But also, the student must have taken 3 units of a course related to his present major.
What else is new?
What does the speaker mean when he says this?
What else is new? Professor, I heard that the exam will cover 3 chapters instead of 2.
Well, the faculty members who are in charge of preparing the exam this semester did say that 3 chapters will be covered.
That's a lot of material that the students will have to review.
That's true. But I'm planning to schedule extra classes to help them review the material.
Well, that's a relief.
You don't have to worry, Pete. The exam probably won't be that difficult.
Is that right?
What does the speaker mean when he says this?
Is that right?
So as I said in class yesterday, both the Greeks and the Romans were excellent at drama. They were very talented actors and they knew how to elicit tears or laughter from the audience. The big difference is that the Romans copied the Greeks. The Romans were known more for their superior skills on the battlefield. Well, not just the battlefield. They also excelled in matters of law. But when it came to drama, they were largely unimaginative. This is an important part of the report you're writing. So if you've done your research, Claudia, do you think you'd be able to tell me what the Romans did to the ideas they borrowed from the Greeks?
I believe they adjusted those ideas to satisfy Roman audiences. Is that right?
What does the speaker mean when she says this?
Is that right?
Listen to the following excerpts from lectures and choose the best answer for each question. Today, I'd like to continue talking about enzymes. I briefly introduced them yesterday. So just to remind you, enzymes are a biological substance. Proteins actually. That act as catalysts. In other words, they help complex reactions occur everywhere in life. Essentially, what they do is They increase the speed of a chemical reaction. Now, to help you understand just what an enzyme does, I'd like to look a little more closely into the actual process of an enzyme working. Okay, let me just briefly state the steps involved. And then I'll give an example. First of all, an enzyme needs a substrate, or a biological molecule, to work on. What will the rest of this talk mainly be about?
Alright, we'll be having group presentations in just a little while, so I hope that you're all ready to present your research on North American native art. But before I ask the groups to take the floor, let me just start things off with a very brief introduction. A lot of the traditional arts by native North Americans have been collected and marketed over the centuries by European travelers. And, these artworks were sort of, shall we say, refashioned to suit the public's taste in art. This is the reason I've asked you to focus on what the art reveals about the native tribes of America. Originally, these objects were produced in a completely different cultural context. In some cases, native people gave a blanket or piece of pottery qualities that weren't related to its primary function. And some groups produced articles that revealed the status of their owners. So, let's see what information your research has produced. Is the first group ready?
What will the speakers probably discuss?
Okay, I'm fairly certain that all of you, or maybe most of you, have asked yourselves how the moon was formed. Well, today I'm going to focus on that question, of course. No one can say for certain how the moon actually did form, but there are a number of theories. Now, let me just say that for a theory to be considered serious, that is, for it to be accepted as a theory, it has to take into account everything that is known about the moon. Actually, scientists don't even agree which of the moon formation theories can be considered truly serious. So, when I finish talking, perhaps you can sort of give your own ideas as to how serious you consider them to be. Now, let's look at the first theory, that the moon came out of the Earth. Basically, what this theory is saying is that the moon was once part of the Earth and that it seems to, it seems to have somehow separated from the Earth.
What will the lecture mainly be about?
I'll, start off our discussion on the development of quilts in the United States by giving you a sort of chronicle on how it became an American tradition. Okay. Although quilting is a very old craft that began in Egypt and Mongolia, it was the European settlers who brought quilt making to America. Now, unfortunately, there are no quilts that survive from 17th century America, but there are many references to them. So we know that Americans did engage in quilt making as early as the 1600s. So, quilting flourished in the United States in the 19th century. And one reason it did was, you had all these American textile manufacturers making a wide variety of quality fabrics for the homemaker to use. Also, coming out at the same time were new printing techniques and synthetic dyes, too. And this wealth of fabric and colors resulted in the creation of new designs and variations on old patterns.
What aspect of the development of quilts will the professor mainly discuss?